completed and all 4 programs administered by the NSIPA, these the NPower program, conditional cash transfer programs, and government enterprise and empowerment program and homegrown school feeding program, have been suspended for a period of 6 weeks in the first instance. According to the statement, Tinubu also contributed a ministerial panel to conduct a thorough review of the agency's operation to recommend the necessary reforms of the NSIPA. During this period of the suspension, all NSIPA-related activities, including but not limited to all distributions, events, payments, collaborations, and registrations, are all now frozen. President Tinubu has approved a 683.4 billion naira as the 2024 intervention fund for public tertiary schools in the country. The Executive Secretary of Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFund, Sani Echano, made this disclosure on Friday at the fund's strategic planning meeting with the heads of beneficiary institutions in Abuja. According to him, from the total of 90.75% is earmarked for the direct disbursement, 8.94% for some-designated special project, and 2.27% is budgeted for response to emerging issues. He also disclosed that each university shall get for the year 2024 intervention cycle the total sum of 1.9 billion naira. Polytechnic 1.2 billion, while each college of education has 1.4 billion naira. The intervention fund is expected to go a long way in addressing the decades-long calls for a better funding of schools in Nigeria. Lecturers in the country's public schools have often resorted to strikes to drum home their demands, which also included a better pay and improved facilities for learning institutions. In late 2022, universities' lecturers suspended an 8-month strike over pay, welfare, and crumbling facilities, the latest industrial dispute to hit Africa's most populous nations.
Based on this approval, each university shall get for the year 2024 intervention cycle a total of 1.9 billion. This comprises 1.65 billion as annual direct disbursements and 250 million as zonal intervention. Similarly, each polytechnic shall get 1.16 billion, comprising 1.01 as annual direct disbursement and 150 million as zonal intervention. While each college of education shall get 1.398 billion, comprising 1.248 billion as annual direct disbursement and 150 million as zonal intervention. It is pertinent to
the Progressive Governors Forum (PGF) has hailed President Bola Tinubu's efforts of tackling insecurity in the country. Nigeria is battling a series of security issues, including banditry, kidnapping, herders farmers conflicts, and oil theft, among others. But during a visit to Tinubu on Friday, the PGF, which is the umbrella body for governors elected under the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC), commended the Nigerian president for facing insecurity headlong. The chairman of the PGF and the Imo State Governor, Hope Uzodinma, told the press after the meeting in Asurok that the governors lauded Tinubu for his effort in addressing the issues so that insecurity will become a thing of the past in the country, and also do more interventions to alleviate the current situations in the country. Aside from that, Uzodinma also praised Tinubu for his support for the state as epitomized in different interventionist moves.
Well, we are here basically to salute the president and welcome him into the new year and congratulate him for all the exploits he has recorded since he became the president of the country, and also to renew our hope in his renewed hope agenda and exchange the pleasantries, and also among other things thank him for the way he has supported the governors of all the subnational governments since his inception, and how he has sustained funding to governors, particularly in some interventions that are outside the statutory allocations. And the president is happy with that and also encouraging as a result of the insecurity in the country. Acknowledge his efforts, commend him for doing so well, and also encourage him to continue so that insecurity will become a thing of the past in the country, and also do more interventions to alleviate the current situation in the country, occasioned by some of the policies that are meant to bring reforms. We are happy and we have acknowledged that his economic policies are working despite the initial challenges, and with time we shall overcome those challenges when we begin to reap the real dividends of all these reforms. And the governors are happy. We will be committed to supporting our president as
The Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, has inaugurated the National Philanthropic Office Local Implementation Committee as part of its effort by the Tinubu's-led federal government to raise alternative funding for small and medium-sized enterprises and other vital economic programs through collaboration with the private sector. The Vice President, however, assured the success and positive impact of the newly established National Philanthropic Office is guaranteed under the Tinubu's administration. And speaking at the inaugural ceremony on Friday at the banquet hall at the Presidential Villa in Abuja, Shettima noted that the National Philanthropic Office, NPO, which is an initiative driven 100% by the private sector, which fully support from the government, is saddled with the responsibility of ensuring the establishment of 12 industrial value chain hubs and accelerators for startups and small business across the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. The Vice President noted that the President Tinubu's tendency for giving back to the society had informed the structure of the NPO to enable eligible MSMEs receive grants ranging from 5 million to 10 million naira, adding that emphasis will be placed on supporting women-led businesses constituting 50% of the startups. In the meantime, the Delta State Governor, Sharif Abovwari, who spoke on behalf of governors of the 36 states of the Federation, said the initiative would be most beneficial to businesses and individuals across the state, expressing the delight of his colleagues and pledging their support.
Executive Officer of the Abdul Samad Rabiu Initiative for Africa and Boa Foundation.
What are you bringing on the table for this national philanthropy office that has been launched today?
First of all, I want to say that it's a great honor, privilege to be part of the committee. I think it's a step in the right direction for the country. I think it's also something that's timely. I think government has taken made a good choice to put together this committee and build philanthropy within a structure. ASR Africa is the personal philanthropic fund of Alhaji Zumad Rabiu. It's a $100 million annual fund for renewal and social development. And we intervene in areas of health, education, and social development. Under social development, we have SME development, like the focus of this committee.
I'm very excited and very grateful to God that we've seen today and able to launch the first ever Nigerian Philanthropy and Impact Investing Office in the Office of the Vice President. The mandate of the office is to raise catalytic capital to support MSMEs across Nigeria. And the mandate that was given to us by the Vice President is extremely targeted so that we're able to support startups in the areas of the fashion industry, the light manufacturing, particularly furniture manufacturers, renewable energy, sustainable agriculture. And in doing so, we will establish 12 hubs across the country, 2 in each geopolitical zone. So the work starts. Now the committee has been inaugurated, so now the work starts.
Any special plan for the Nigerian women concerning this?
The Supreme Court judgment that affirmed Babajide Sanwo-Olu as the duly elected governor of the Lagos State. The governor has called on all Lagosians to support his administration on the journey to a greater Lagos. The governor of Benue State, Reverend Francis Hyacinth Alia, who also got the court affirmation as substantive governor of the state, expressed joy on the verdict, saying it will only spur him to do more as expectations of the people of his state is high. The two governors made the call after the President Bola Tinubu met with the Progressive Governors Forum at the State House in Abuja. The two governors, while describing the victory as a call to action to all the work to meet the needs of the citizens and ensure the state achieves meaningful development, the Benue State went further to speak on some of his achievements since his inception in office.
Pretty much, it's really just to thank all of our citizens in Lagos for their support, irrespective of what party affiliation you are, and to call everyone, all Lagosians, to join us once again on our Greater Lagos journey. It's a journey where we've said no one will be left behind. We are transforming the state, the city. We're building structures, processes, institutions that will outlive us, and we're putting in place a governance structure that would improve the economic, relevance of Lagos in the country. And so for us, it's not just about a victory. It's about the people that have put in all of their hope and aspiration into our government. So really is to ask everybody to join us, irrespective of whatever party it is, and to see that indeed the train in Lagos is moving. Yes, we have a real fiscal train, but the train of governance is moving. And what we have assured is that we will do it quicker, faster, and bolder. And we've promised to pretty much use every energy that we have to ensure that the economic commercial nerve center of the country remains.
The Supreme Court has upheld the election of Abba Yusuf as governor of Kano State, reversing the decision of the Court of Appeal and the Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, which sacked the governor of Justice John Okoro, who read the lead judgment on Friday and said the Court of Appeal was wrong in affirming the decision of the tribunal, which held that Yusuf did not win the majority of lawful votes cast in the governorship election of March 18, 2023. In determining the case, the Apex Court raised two issues, and whether the lower court was right in deducting 165,616 from the votes the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) announced for the governor, and whether the lower court could determine the issue of party membership. In the judgment, Justice Okoro held that the tribunal was wrong in deducting 165,616 votes accrued to the Yusuf in the election on the grounds that the ballot papers were not signed and stamped by INEC officials. According to him, Section 71 of the Electoral Act relied upon the tribunal to deduct the disputed votes. Does not apply in the instant case. The Supreme Court panel of 5 justices subsequently went ahead to restore the deducted 165,616 votes to reinstate the victory of Yusuf in the governorship election. On the second issue, the Supreme Court again faulted the Court of Appeal for holding that Yusuf was not a member of the New Nigerian People's Party (NNPP) as of the time he contested the poll, adding that the issue of nomination and sponsorship is a pre-election matter and outside the jurisdiction of the court. The governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, on Friday called on the opposition party to collaborate with his administration on his mission to rescue the state. The governor's appeal is coming after the Supreme Court reversed his sack as governor of the state on Friday. Affirming his victory in the March 18, 2023 governorship election, he said that the Supreme Court verdict is a victory for the people of Zamfara. The Apex Court set aside the decision of the Court of Appeal, Abuja, which declared the Zamfara governorship election inconclusive. Delivering the lead decision of the Supreme Court, Emmanuel Agim described the judgment of the lower Court of Appeal as perverse and lacked evidential foundation. In a statement by his spokesperson, Sulaiman Bala Idris, Governor Lawal said that the Apex Court verdicts reflected the people's desire for positive development and progress. According to him, working together is critical to achieving a sustainable state development. The success of our collective efforts depends on the active collaborations of all stakeholders. The Supreme Court has reserved the sack of Caleb Mutfwang, affirming him as the governor of Plateau State. On November the 19th, the Court of Appeal in Abuja sacked Mutfwang as governor of the state. The appellate court held that the PDP violated the court order and ordered that a valid Congress be conducted in the 17 local government area of Plateau. The court said that the party conducted Congress in only 5 LGAs of the state, which amounted to a nullity. But a 5-member panel led by Justice Emmanuel Agim reversed the decision of the appellate court for being perverse because the issue of the primary election that produced Mutfwang was outside the jurisdiction of the lower court. The Apex Court pointed out that the validity of nomination and sponsorship is not a valid ground to void an election. He held that the Court of Appeal lacked jurisdiction to entertain it, and besides, the issue of sponsorship has elapsed long ago, and adding that the petitioners, not being members of the People's Democratic Party, have no locus to challenge the party's primary election. And in its efforts to combat the growing issue of ritual killing in the Ogun State, the Police Command has announced the plans to launch an advocacy campaign against the melons. The State Commissioner of Police, Abiodun Alamutu, disclosed these while speaking to newsmen in Abeokuta, the state capital. He emphasized the commitment of the command in addressing the alarming trend of ritual killings within the state, and despite being adjudged as one of the safest states in the country. The police boss, who debunked the myth of money rituals, insisted that there is no truth to it, and saying that the people had only been deceived into committing the heinous act. He said that the command would be engaging the media in order to enlighten the public. Lamtu urged parents to guide their children away from engaging in social vices and stressing that the police will not tolerate any form of criminal behavior. And that's it on the local news. We now take a short break. When we come back, we'll take some stories on sport.